So before getting into the video, I do want to say a couple things. As you guys are noticing right now, the lighting is just, it's coming out of the clouds, the sun, and then it's going back in the clouds. So the lighting is going to be off. I am trying so hard to work with the lighting here. It's not working out, but I'm sorry. And the second thing, I do have a giant pimple there. Do not mind that. It's just been a rough day. And the last thing is that I will have part 1 of this video linked up here. So this is part 2. And without further ado, let's get into it. Try to change someone else or try to change yourself for others. This is the biggest lesson that I have learned in my 20s. Well, when I was in my 20s. I tried every and anything to be like everybody else. Celebrities, friends, and I've always felt a little lost. When in reality, being just Kira was more than okay. And it took me a long time to realize that. And now that I got a good grip on who I am, what I like, I'm not letting go. I'm never changing myself for someone else ever again. They either take me how I am or they just don't take me at all. And the other part of that is like when you try to change someone else. So you guys know by now I'm minimalist. I eat plant-based. So when I found, or when I was going vegan and when I found this minimalist lifestyle, I wanted everybody to try it out. Like I wanted everybody at my job to try it out. I just felt so inspired that I was trying to change everybody around me. And it's not a good idea. Like that's how you tick people off. So that's something I'll never do again either. Like if you don't want someone to change you, you shouldn't try to change someone else. Leave important things for the last minute. I have learned a valuable lesson with this as well, and it's something that I would never do. For a little example, Milo needed insurance and I waited till the last minute. Like I was looking for insurance for him, but of course I waited for the last minute to get him insurance. By the time I got him insurance, I already had like a $1,400 vet bill because he did have surgery with his teeth, which I've talked about in vlogs. It was not pleasant and I could have just dodged that bill, well, more than half of that bill, if I would have just got insurance and not waited the last minute. So with me waiting last minute to get him insurance, that was the cost I had to pay, because now like what he had done is a pre-existing condition, and if there's any other complications, the insurance will not cover it because I waited last minute to get him health insurance. Not my proudest moment. And that was like a recent learn. You know, you learn something new every day or every month or year. You're never too old to learn, and I'm sure I'm gonna learn a lot more lessons, but that is something that I will never do again, is wait last minute for important things. Using hairspray and gel. Like I used to use LA Looks gel and the Rave hairspray. Those were my loves back in like high school days, and they ruined, not even ruined, they fried my hair. My hair was never, like this is my natural hair. This is three-day-old hair, so it is a little greasy, but my hair was never this like voluptuous, and it was never this tamed. My hair back then was fried, and it was also like I had so many like sparse little bald spots due to me using an excessive amount of hairspray and gel. Now that I'm in my 30s, my early 30s, I just don't use that stuff. I haven't used hairspray and gel since I was a teenager, and I just realized the other day that that's something I'll never ever use again, because if I do use gel, I opt out for a fresh aloe leaf. I've talked about this in my vlogs as well. I want to say like every 2 weeks I will use a fresh aloe leaf, soak it in water, and then use it the next day. Use the gel in my hair. It creates a nice sleek look, and it's also moisturizing your scalp, and so many benefits other than crappy gel and hairspray. Yeah, so those two products are a thing of the past, and it's something that I will never use again. I have seen and I have been there with the damage, and it took me years to get my hair to be, you know, to be like this, basically what I'm trying to say. Tanning beds or just tanning in general. I used to be embarrassed by my complexion, and I used to get made fun of in school. They used to call me Casper or Snow White, and it used to bother me. So back then I used to tan all the way from like, I want to say, when was it, like 10th grade all the way up to graduation till I was 21. This is a picture of me when I was 21. That's how I looked. A lot of makeup. Those were like different days back then. That was 2012. I was obsessed, more than obsessed with tanning, and I'm glad I learned a valuable lesson one day. It's always something that teaches you a lesson on the mistakes that you have been making throughout the years. And I've talked about this before. I went to Six Flags. Long story short, I got the worst tan ever because I never wore sunscreen. And it was so bad that I almost fainted. I couldn't sleep at night. I was swollen. It was very, very severe. But thankfully, I got better. And I'm left with a bunch of sunspots on this shoulder. And that's it. So the sunspots look horrible. You can't see them on camera, but if you're in person with me, like, you can see them. I already know when I get older this is gonna look even worse. But that's what I got for over tanning, overdoing it, and not paying attention to my complexion. Like, I am very, very fair skin. I do not belong out in the sun for too long, and I don't belong tanning. I needed to learn that lesson. I needed to, respect the way that I look and just be happy with, my skin color. And I always wanted to be tan and kind of like that Jersey Shore era. So yeah, that's something I'll never do again. And I will make sure to tell my future kids about my tanning incident, how the UV rays can damage your skin over time. So now I'm all about skincare. I wear sunscreen 24/7. I was even thinking about getting a sun protectant like umbrella. Yeah, I'm really that bad when it comes to this, like, protecting my skin from the sun. Even my hands, I've been wearing sunscreen. Yeah, that's just how I am. And I try my best not to go outside at peak times. Like, I think it's like 11 to 3 o'clock is the peak time of the highest UV rays. I don't go outside. And if I do have to go, I am layered up. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt in 90 degrees weather and a ton of sunscreen. So, wanting to look like someone else. This was a very difficult lesson I had to learn. So my whole life, I have been made fun of with how my body is. Now, let me remind you guys a little something. I went to school with skinny girls. Like, back in the day, I was the chubbiest, but technically I wasn't chubby. So everybody in my school back then looked like Paris Hilton from like the early 2000 era. Super skinny, blonde hair, blue eyes. And again, nothing against people that look like that, but I just felt like something was wrong with me. I had a smaller waist, but I had these big thighs, a bigger booty, big boobs. So I always felt like, what the heck is wrong with me? Why can't I look like these girls? And then the older I got, the more I wanted to change myself, the more I wanted to look like all of these other celebrities or all of these other people I was surrounded by. I made this dumb promise when I was like 13, like, when I get older, I'm gonna save up as much money as possible to get my nose fixed, to get my face nice and slim. I wish I could just hug my younger self, because she truly needed it. Like, she did not love herself. Unless it's something you really, really want to do, then go for it. But just don't go for something just because you want to look like everybody else. So I'm glad, being broke kind of saved you from doing stupid things. So I'm glad that I never had the money to change the way I looked. I'm glad that I just never had anything done. I'm not against it. You never know the future. But just something I'll never ever do again is wanting to look like someone else other than myself. Trying to please everyone. This is something that I've learned with YouTube. I didn't have to learn this in the past. This is something where being online and trying to cater to everybody's needs, like, I
want short videos, I want long videos, I want medium videos, I want you to wear your hair up, I want you to wear makeup.
My head was ready to explode with how many things that people wanted. You cannot please everybody. There was someone in the comments a couple months ago and they were complaining on how I don't answer everybody's comments. I try my best to answer everybody. You do not know how hard it is to do this job. Like, I script these videos myself, I record them, I do everything by myself. One woman show. I have no manager, no one to help me. Everything you see with this channel, I do by myself. And it is very, very hard. I'm not complaining. I love this job, but it is freaking hard. And then on top of that, when a video goes up, I do try my best to sit down for an hour and answer as many comments as possible. But of course, I do have to edit videos as well at the same time. So yeah, with that all being said, I will not be pleasing everybody. Like, I can please some, but not everybody. And it's highly, highly impossible. If you live your life trying to please everybody, you will go completely insane. Like, it's just not healthy to try to please everybody. You will eventually break down. So to those of you that respect me just doing, you know, my regular schedule, doing what I can, thank you. Thank you for not wanting so much from me. Because for those of you that do want every and anything from me, it's not human to try to do everything. It's just not. I'm not a freaking robot. I can't do it all. Just even thinking about doing everything, like answering everybody's comments on all my videos, while editing, while planning, while filming, while editing thumbnails, while answering DMs on Instagram, posting on Instagram, doing reels on Instagram. That was just 8 things I mentioned, and there's other things like emails, collaborations, like I'm already out of breath talking about it, but pleasing everybody, thing of the past. Nope, not doing it. Making the same mistakes my parents made. Now, my parents, they had me young. I consider it young. They had me when they were 21. I was actually born on my father's 21st birthday, so we do share the same birthday. You know, I'm not saying that I was a mistake. How I was at 21, I mean, you guys see the pictures. That girl could never be a mom. To be honest with you guys, I probably would have lost custody. Because how much partying I was doing, how much unnecessary spending, showing up to work with only like 1 hour of sleep. I know a child changes your life, but I'm so grateful that my boyfriend and I are waiting to be financially stable. Because we aren't there yet still. I mean, hello, inflation has kind of ruined us millennials wanting to move forward in life. The house market is insane still. Being 31 years old, I could never picture myself being 21, making that mistake of just having a kid, you know, just to have one because everybody else wants you to have one. And I do want to say, kids are not mistakes, so do not get me wrong on that, okay? They're not. But the mistakes that my parents have made, to be 100% honest with you guys, my mom was into drugs and she did lose custody of us, me and my sisters, so we had to move with my father. I've been through a lot of stuff that I don't really want to put on the internet because the internet can be very toxic. It could be nice, you know, therapy sometimes to talk to others that have been through what I've been through, but it also can be very toxic, and it's something that I just don't want on the internet right now. But I had a crappy childhood, a very sad childhood due to my parents' mistakes. So I don't put my parents down for how things, you know, went about with me and my sisters. We definitely still have trauma from our childhood, but I don't put them down for it. Instead, I learn from it. So with all of that being said, not to go too in depth with this, I'm learning from a lot of mistakes, including my parents' mistakes. So yeah, it's something that you gotta learn from and move on. Sorry you guys, it looks like a rainstorm is coming in. That's why it got so dark. I only have a couple more things to talk about before it gets even darker, so let's just keep going. Being afraid to try something new. Oh my god, you guys, my boyfriend, if he was here, he could tell you guys so many stories of how I never wanted to try anything new because I was afraid. I didn't want to switch up what I ate at restaurants because I was afraid that I wouldn't like the new thing I ordered. Or I was afraid to drive. My boyfriend was the one to teach me how to drive, and I was terrified. I was like, I can't do this. And I didn't even start the car. Like, I was terrified to do anything. I was always living in fear for the longest time. With YouTube, prime example, I wanted to start my channel when I first found the minimalist lifestyle and where I was still living with my mom, and I was like, oh, I wish I had the guts to start my channel and show me decluttering and selling all my stuff. Those would have made some pretty damn good videos if I wasn't afraid to try it out. I ended up getting the courage to do YouTube like a year later, and that was when I was on my own. So I kind of lucked out on a whole lot of views, and I kind of lucked out on helping others, especially with that side hustle I had where I was selling everything in my room. But yeah, those would have made great videos, and I never started to do it because out of fear. kick myself in the butt all the time. I wish I could go back and film the beginning of my minimalist journey, but everything happens for a reason. So the lesson I learned from that was, do not be afraid to try something new. You just might love it. And the last thing that I will never do is just working for the money. I used to work 12 hours a day, Monday through Sunday, for an entire month. Around that time, I got rid of all my friends. Again, I was starting a whole new life for myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna work. I just could stack a bunch of money. Yeah, that did nothing for me. Like, the checks weren't even that big. Taxes took everything that the extra money that I made. I was so tired all the time. I was barely eating. I was a mess. And I was just doing it for the money. I was just treating everybody like objects. Like, how can I put this in words? You know when you're at the grocery store and you put your items on a conveyor belt? That's how I was treating everybody, because I was just doing it for the money. I was losing my compassion for my job. I was, you know, just not myself. And within that next month, I said, you know what? Working 12 hours a day is not for me. Or, like, I could work 12 hours every other day, just not Monday through Sunday. Like, as a human being, we need breaks. We need at least 1 day or 2 days to ourselves without work, without doing anything. Because what's life if you're just doing stuff for the money? And I know a lot of you guys want me to just go get a better job and quit YouTube because I don't make enough with this job. But I love it. Like, it's crazy. It's like I don't make a lot of money with this job. It's not very rewarding in the money aspect. But with helping strangers, with helping people you don't even know, helping people change their life, like, that's priceless to me. That's something that's like, when it comes to knowledge, that's something that you can take and pass on. You guys know I'm very transparent on how much I make, and I only get paid with the ads. I don't really do sponsorships at all, because I'm very, very picky when it comes to products and selling you guys stuff. I don't want to sound like an info commercial all the time. And I promised myself that I won't do something just for the money. That's how you kind of lose yourself. There is good money and then there's bad money. And I think when you're doing something for just the money, it's bad money. So yeah, I keep that in mind every time. You know what it reminds me of? A little side note. If you've ever seen that movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves, The Devil's Advocate, if you haven't watched that movie, I know it's old, but that's kind of like what I'm getting at. You got good money and you got bad money. And yeah, it's a really, really good movie. It's a little bit on the horror side, but it's got a valuable lesson when it comes to power, money and power. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope the lighting wasn't too distracting. Today's just not a good day when it comes to lighting. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed, and let me know down below, what is the biggest life lesson that you have learned? The one thing that you'll never do again as an adult, or even if you are younger watching this video, tell me something that you'll never ever do again.